is filling his cabinet with loyalists. Okay, people have stood by him. People that will fight tooth and nail for whatever his wishes are, no matter how insane or unhinged. Matt Gaetz has been nominated as Attorney General. I cannot begin to explain to you how much worse shit can get. Okay? Imagine the worst possible outcome. Imagine the worst possible outcome that could happen. Now imagine it being infinitely worse. Matt Gaetz has been nominated as Attorney General. It's my great honor to announce that Congressman Matt Gaetz of Florida is hereby nominated to be the Attorney General of the United States. Oh my God, the never-kevers have risen up and they are taking over the goddamn government. Holy fuck. They are abolishing age of consent, dude. Oh my Lord. This man has active investigations into his, like, pedophilia. What? What the fuck? Can we go back a few saves? No, we need a fucking reset, dude. Oh my Lord, dude. Holy fuck. Oh. If the Senate confirms him, witness tells House Ethics Committee that Matt Gaetz paid her for sex. Several women were witnesses of the DOJ probe that have been interviewed. The House Ethics Committee probed Matt Gaetz for alleged sexual misconduct. And now Donald Trump wants to make him the Attorney General. Now, if you know anything about the Republican Party, a guy with active pedophilia allegations and sex trafficking allegations on him is a perfect person to put into a position of power. I am reminded of Dennis Hastert, the longest running Speaker of the House. Dennis Hastert is a Republican, was a Republican, and was the longest running record-breaking Speaker of the House. He broke another record, the most prolific pedophile. There was suspicion that a lot of people knew that he was a pedophile at the time, but because of his active pedophilia, his serial pedophilia, it made him controllable. So I suspect not only is Matt Gaetz a diehard pro-Trump guy, but he also has, blackmail on himself, which Trump can use if given the opportunity. This is incredible stuff. Yeah, it's leverage, okay? I'm not touching whatever that link is. This is called leverage, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it is. Holy fuck! Oh. This country is in the pooper, okay? This country is in the dumps. We are so cooked. Let's see what MSNBC has to say about the Matt Gaetz situation. I'll look at what CNN has to say as well.
And they're used to policy differences. So you can go from Bush presidency.
Do your dry eyes still feel gritty?
No, they don't. Dude. Donald Trump wants loyalists in his fucking orbit, okay? He wants loyalists in his orbit, and he wants the generals to be loyal to him.
If I think that it is a real signaling with Matt Gaetz being proposed for the head of the Department of Justice, with Tulsi Gabbard being proposed.
This is a malicious man. This is a vindictive man. This is a man. This is a man who unironically learned the worst lessons he possibly could have from the last administration. The last time he wanted to do shit like January 6th and numerous other things, there were people in his cabinet that actively fought against him, or at the very least were open to criticizing him or maybe even stopping him. Okay? When, you know, and he was like, all right, well, I'm going to make sure that that never happens again. It's fucking over. So he basically is filling his cabinet with loyalists. Okay? People have stood by him, people that will fight tooth and nail for whatever his wishes are, no matter how insane or unhinged. And this is precisely the reason why I fucking lose my mind when I see photos like this. Okay? When I see shit like this, I'm like, y'all are, you're so fake. You're so fucking phony. You are so goddamn phony, dude. You said he was a fucking fascist, which he is. And now you're just friendly with the fascists? Like, what message are you giving to the American public? And I know what message they're giving to the American public. The message is, guys, we have a much greater enemy, okay? And that is trans people. That is socialism. That is communism. No way you're still on this? What are you talking about, dude? What do you mean, no way I'm still on this? I'm on this now.
Matt Gaetz, Jeffrey Clark.
Get off this dick, chatter. Wake the fuck up.
Matt Gaetz, that would result in a number of important people, the people that make the place run at DOJ, saying, no, I can't be a part of this. I'm going to walk.
Well, that issue of whether you stay or whether you walk is a complicated one. It's certainly, I think, for people who are serious people who, as I said, are used to the idea that they, you know, elections have come.
Chatter was like, move on, man. Politics is over. The election ended, you know? Yeah, don't look ahead at the dire prospect of American tomorrow, American future.
Are just so extreme that they can't agree as a policy matter, in which, you know, then it's their choice to leave, or ask them to do things that are simply unsupported by the facts. So that your example of January 6th is a really good one, because you had people who were Trump appointees who are saying, we cannot do this. You had the acting attorney general, you had the acting deputy attorney general, you had the head of the Office of Legal Counsel, sort of three of the most prominent people at the Department of Justice, all selected by Donald Trump, saying they cannot do this. And so what I see with these announcements is
John Cornyn says he's trying to still absorb all this. When asked about Gaetz for AG and Gabbard for DNI, Cornyn visiting raised his eyebrows when first informed by the press of the Gaetz pick.
And that is,
by the way,
a fine point.
They will all stand down, just so you understand. Anytime you hear a Republican be like, well, I don't know about all this, like, do not be hopeful, okay? Lest you be misguided in this moment.
Moskowitz from Florida, as is Matt Gaetz. Just your reaction to this. I mean, this news just broke. It's out on Trump's Truth Social. Is the Hill abuzz with the news? Is your phone blowing up over this? Give us a sense of what's going on.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, this is what the American people voted for, right? I mean, you know.
Oh my God, they're literally like, oh no, we're punishing the voters. They are. They're punishing the fucking voters.
You know, in Matt Gaetz, he's not only going to get someone who's fiercely loyal, but fiercely competent. Matt Gaetz knows exactly what to do with the Attorney General's office. He will turn that into be most powerful Attorney General in American history. I know Matt well. We served together in the legislature in Florida. In fact, Matt was the one who was part of the transition team of Ron DeSantis.
What are you saying? He's a fucking demon, dog.
Director of Emergency Management in the state of Florida. And so, you know, Trump was very clear on what he wanted to do with government. And in Matt Gaetz, he is going to get a very competent, very powerful Attorney General.
So what do you think he is going to do as AG, if confirmed?
Well, I don't know. I mean, obviously he's got a boss in Donald Trump, but anyone thinking that Donald Trump was just ready to move forward, that is clearly not the case. And so, at the end of the day, this is what happens. Elections have consequences. We talked about this during the election, but at the end of the day, Matt was a former prosecutor, former attorney in private practice. He is a fierce Donald Trump loyalist. Matt has prosecuted the case in Congress for Donald Trump for years, and now he's going to get to do that on behalf of the American people if he gets confirmed.
I've heard from some of your Democratic colleagues in the House who are concerned, this was before Matt Gaetz was the pick, that a Trump DOJ might target them, that they could be investigated. Do you think that that is going to be part of Gaetz's repertoire? Is he going to be settling scores?
Well, I don't know. I don't want to speak for Matt or speak for the Trump administration.
Do you
but
have
I'm
a
pretty sure they're
concern
not
that
just
would
going to go.
happen?
What are these guys saying?
I'm pretty sure with this
Like
pick,
what?
they're not just gonna go around
What
and
is the
shut down
Democratic
puppy mills.
response to this?
This is
Everything
a very
that they're
serious
saying,
pick.
everything that they've said this past week makes me feel like they are receptive to the Trump fascist takeover. I feel like they're more predisposed with shitting on trans people and woke more than they are of like the upcoming second Trump agenda, the upcoming second Trump regime. That is fucking nuts, dude. Yeah, look at this. I agree. Thanks for tuning in, Hassan the Hun. Don't forget to subscribe. We're already on to you, though. Child predators use Twitch to systematically track kids. Congressman Matt Gaetz joins Twitch. This motherfucker is now the Attorney General, potentially, if appointed. What the hell's going on?
For DOD, Tulsi Gabbard for for Director of National Intelligence. What is the most concerning? What are the most comforting picks for you when it comes to the issue of national security or foreign relations?
Well, look, I think the meeting of all these people is going to be fascinating and problematic. I mean, you got Marco Rubio and Mike Waltz. Those folks are very serious about policy and protecting America, are tough on Iran, tough on China, tough on Russia. And then in the DOD picks and in intelligence, you have folks kind of on the opposite side of that. And so, I think it's going to be fascinating to watch the power struggle, the power balance between all of these folks. But we're also acting like everyone's going to get through Senate confirmation, and we'll have to see which ones do and which ones don't. Some of these folks are clearly more qualified. Mike Waltz, Marco Rubio, clearly more qualified for these positions than the other folks. But again, Donald Trump told everybody what he wanted to do. This is not a secret. And so the fact that this is now playing out in real time, elections have consequences.
Congressman Jared Moskowitz, thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
We have much more on our breaking news ahead. Congressman Matt Gaetz chosen by President-elect Trump to serve as his Attorney General. Stay with us.
I'm a little confused as to this is what I was also trying to bring up in terms of like resistance media is not going to be the same as it was before. Okay. I don't think resistance media is going to do resistance media shit like they did in 2016. This is the other aspect of this. Not only do I feel like they are gearing up for a ratings bump, which will come, but not in the degree that they think it will, right? Due to how the media landscape operates now. There's way too many independent voices out there. There's way too much diversity of information out there for them to, dominate the space. But beyond that, I think resistance libs are gearing up their primary base, like the news watchers, okay, into submission. How likely do you think it's going to be to pass the Senate? I have no belief no belief whatsoever that these GOP senators are going to do the right thing. Okay? If you feel like these goddamn vultures are ever going to do the right thing and be like, we're striking this down, okay? I'm telling you right now, you're wrong. Everyone's saying, oh, but the confirmations, remember that recess appointments are a thing. If the Senate plus House is convinced to go on break for 10 plus days, Trump can appoint everyone in one day. He can slam through everyone instantly and they don't need a confirmation hearing. It's so bad. Yes. And who's going to stop them? The Supreme Court? What do you think? You think the Supreme Court's going to stop it? Yeah, if you're thinking that these monstrous pieces of shit are going to be your salvation, you're wrong, okay? And it feels like even the Democrats are not there to fight against this. And it feels like the media is not there to even talk about how devastating this is. Oh my God. Scoop, Schumer eyeing omnibus, possibly minibus government funding package for the end of the year. Senate Dems focused on wrapping fiscal year 2025 by December per sources. Will set up a clash between Schumer and Johnson. Is Schumer still slapping on that anti-Semitism bill onto this or no? I wonder what America's going to look like in 4 years. Canadian neighbor here. Dude, in the last week, I have heard so many unhinged things. Okay? In the last week, I've heard so many unhinged fucking things from the Republican side. Okay? Like gearing up to possibly fucking bomb Mexico. Fighting the cartels, you know? Like just incredible escalations. The entire cabinet is chock full of the most rabid war hawks, which was of course expected, as I told you over and over and over again. They are going to pick apart what remains of the carcass of the American government and turn it into the anarcho-capitalist dystopia that they always wanted it to be. Fascism is upon us.
Is the Senate going to confirm Matt Gaetz to be Attorney General, or do you think there's going to be just recess appointments?
The recess is a little more difficult than that. Keep in mind, the way the recess works, President Obama tried to do this in 2014, and the court struck it down. Mm-hmm. So to just go through the process, first of all, both chambers have to recess for 10 days. The minority party, which in this case is the Democrats, does have a lot of leverage to pull to keep us open at the same time. During that recess appointments, during that 10 days, they're temporary appointments. They only last until the next Congress begins, or a maximum 2 years. So it's not ideal. The ideal way is for us to move forward. But if that's the last resort, we will absolutely do it. If Chuck Schumer and the Democrats in the Senate want to keep us from making any of these appointments, we are going to do our best to do whatever we have to do to get the cabinet in a position and get the appointments in a position so President Trump can go to work on day one. So we will do whatever it takes, but that's the last resort.
Last resort. Are you going to vote for Matt Gaetz?
You know, Matt Gaetz and I, there's no question that we've had our differences. They've been very public about it. I completely trust President Trump's decision-making on this one. But at the same time, he's got to come to Congress and sell himself. There's a lot of, or to the Senate and sell himself. There's a lot of questions that are going to be out there. He's got to answer those questions. And hopefully he's able to answer the questions right. And if he can, then we'll go through the conference.
Lindsey Graham and other top senators on the Senate Judiciary Committee non-committal on Matt Gaetz as Attorney General. Now, a lot of these talking points are just simply people playing block and push for the time being. When push comes to shove, they will, they know how their bread is buttered. Okay, they're going to go along with it. I'm letting you know, they're going to go along with it. Do not be surprised by this.
action to Matt Gaetz as AG?
Yeah, I don't know yet. I think about that one.
I mean, do you have any concerns about it?
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, he's in the tank. Lindsey Graham has never not kissed the fucking ring. You know what I mean? Oh.
Others spoke a little bit more at length, Jake, including Senator John Cornyn, who's also a senior member.
Acceleration is eating good right now. That's the funniest part about this. It's the Democratic Party that are the accelerationists. It's not the fucking activist base. You know what I mean? Like, the Democratic Party gave this election to Donald Trump. Do not forget. Okay? They gave this election to Donald Trump, and now they are, I don't know, they're just acting like this is not a thing. This is not like devastating. I think these are the real accelerationists are at the tippy top of the Democratic Party. They do not care about a Trump future, okay? If they did, they probably would have run a better fucking campaign. I can totally understand Democrats underperforming and losing is what they're good at, but considering how bad the Republican campaign was, I cannot grasp how it was so successful. Shouldn't they have also done worse with that bad of a campaign? I'm a Canadian and I watch your coverage of right-wing media, and I still can't mentally grasp what brings that many people to this conclusion. I mean, it's pretty simple. People are like, I need more money in my pocket, and Trump says he's going to do it, and the Democrats keep telling me that, like, things are fine, things are good, and that's it. That's it. You have no interest in preserving the sanctity of these wonderful institutions if you don't feel like these institutions are defending you. If you don't feel like these institutions are there to protect you, why the fuck wouldn't you want to blow it up? You don't give a shit. You're like, yeah, dog, fuck it. Who cares?
Of the Senate Judiciary Committee, someone who ran for majority leader, fell short in that bid, said we'll have to do our job as a Senate, do our advise and consent function. Very noncommittal when I asked him if he would support him. And I also asked Senator Tom Tillis, another senior member of the Senate Judiciary Committee.
My libertarian Bernie respecting Trump loving boss just messaged me about him and his wife moving out of the country over Matt Gaetz for Attorney General. 7 days into transition. They'll be fine. If they love Trump, they'll be fine. They'll be like, nah, this is great.
And he said, Mr. Gaetz and I have jousted on certain issues between the House and the Senate. He said, at the end of the day, it only comes down to whether you have the credentials and also the relationships. And of course, what Tillis was referring to was Gaetz' central role in pushing for the ouster of Kevin McCarthy back last year. That led to a whole back and forth. It made him very unpopular.
The Senate will not confirm him, bro. Relax, law. Let me explain something to you, okay? I'm Turkish. And when I was growing up, there was a man named Recep Tayyip Erdogan, okay? And one of the things that Recep Tayyip Erdogan did was secure his immediate periphery with like a new rank of wealthy multimillionaires that would then dominate the Turkish economy. But he didn't stop there, okay? In Turkey, the military is considered much more significant and much more impressive and much more important than the way we here in the United States look at the military. After all, Turkey has had numerous coups, military coups d'etats that have overthrown administrations in the past. So knowing full well what was going on there, okay, Recep Tayyip Erdogan also has undermined the military. He did this after the last attempted coup that took place, not with the military, but by a CIA-backed Fethullah Gülen who died recently, okay, in his Poconos home. Recep Tayyip Erdogan and Donald Trump are very similar to one another, okay? Very, very similar to one another. All of the institutions that you believe will preserve American democracy or normal American existence will be eroded. Donald Trump, I've heard, has specifically thought about putting in charge of the Defense Department, like and the appointments, like the general appointment structure, a former general, what is it, like the Warriors Committee or something, like a different committee, so that he can have loyalists that end up making these appointments. Why didn't this happen in 2016 then, Hasan? Because Donald Trump in 2016 was definitely not as firmly within the establishment of the Republican Party. He did not have the same level of control. He was not as prepared. He just kind of lucked into this position. Brother, if you read reporting on this, as I did way back in the day, you will recognize that Donald Trump himself didn't think that he was going to win in 2016. Okay? It came as a shock to him as well. 4 years of leading the administration, and then another 4 of trying to avoid legal scrutiny and wanting to preserve his I guess legacy, but also more importantly just trying to not go to prison, avoid jail time. Donald Trump now is back with a vengeance. And this time he's not going to repeat the mistakes he made. He's not going to have cabinet members that are not incredibly loyal to him. Okay? He is going to make sure that he undermines every institution, including but not limited to the American military. This is what strongmen leaders do. This is what Recep Tayyip Erdogan did, and this is precisely what Donald Trump is going to do as well. He does not want any threats. He does not want anyone who can maybe stop him. He's going to go in and he's going to put his loyal soldiers in every fucking federal agency this time around. And he's not going to, like, first and foremost, the most important thing that Donald Trump needs here in the way that he's making these assessments is like people who are committed to him, people who have demonstrated loyalty to him. Okay? Above all else, that's what's the most important thing. He can't have a fucking Mike Pence style situation again. All right? That would be unacceptable. Senator Bernie Sanders has announced a piece of legislation that he is moving forward next week with a resolution to block billions of dollars of aid to Israel. Starting tomorrow, AIPAC is running ads in 17 states urging senators to oppose the resolution, by the way. Do not know how much support it will pick up, but I will, of course, be in support of it unconditionally. This time, Donald Trump is more prepared, okay? He had 4 years to fucking imagine what it would look like to have this vengeance agenda, to have this vengeance campaign.
Among the House Republican Conference and faced a barrage of criticism from Republicans in the Senate as well,
Or he says, we are flying out to D.C. tomorrow to try and lobby for senators to support this bill. Wishes luck, chat. Hell yeah.
viewed the whole episode as showcasing how the House was dysfunctional and that how they could not govern and the like. And they pointedly blamed Gaetz for leading the charge against McCarthy. That, along with the questions about this ongoing House ethics investigation into alleged sexual misconduct. Gaetz has denied any wrongdoing. But I asked Cornyn about that too, Jake, and he said, I'm sure that will come up at the confirmation hearings. So that's one of the things that members want some answers to on that topic as well, Jay.
Interesting decision by the senator to invoke sword fighting as a metaphor there regarding Matt Gaetz.